the month, the years, and the cycle. It's like today. If I ask you what cycle we are in that calendar, in this calendar, nobody knows because we don't work with that.
Cycle of the system.
Yeah.
Cycle of the system.
Brainwashing
Yeah.
cycle.
You see, it is. So it was different, completely different. That's one of the reasons. One they wrote the Spanish. In no sense that because it cannot work with the calendars of the Western culture. It's different.
Yeah, it's like as if the Western calendar has no meaning. It just goes on and on and on without meaning anything.
Right. It's just a way to mark time.
It's only for use when the taxes are due.
Personal things.
Well, so if someone has your calendar, Hunbatz, if we have your calendar, which we do, how do they use it or how do they work with it? What do they do? If somebody has that calendar, how do they figure out what today is? That kind of thing.
I need to do some calculation, but I can tell you some information.
About how would we? What would we
Example.
do? Yeah.
What year we are?
Yeah.
This year is the name is Ok.
Dog. Right.
Ok.
Yeah. Because it has the name of it written, the name of the year written on there in our way we read it. So that and then it says oak. So you can tell that.
Maybe December. And what day we are? Are we in the 18th?
Yes.
We are in Eb.
No, actually it's the 17th.
In Eb. And the month is Kankin. You see, you have 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So the year of Ok.
The year is Ok.
And then what is
It's the year of Ok.
Yeah, year of Ok. And Eb is the what?
Day.
The day?
And what month?
Eb is the day.
Okay.
No, we're in December. Yes, December Eb. And the month is Kankin.
Kankin.
Yeah. And then I need to calculate here in Solking.
Uh-huh.
I need to calculate with this.
Uh-huh.
What is the number of the day? What is the number of the month? And what's the number of the year?
Okay.
Like this here you can find this.
What's the cycle?
The number of the year is 13. So this is the year 13.
30?
No, 13.
Oh,
Trece.
13.
So you have 6 indications for today.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then I need to calculate what cycle. There's another information. What cycle we are.
Uh-huh.
But this I need to calculate here.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Like seven informations for all tell you what is today.
So the end of this cycle, the year will be Ahau. And what will the day be?
Then you say in the next?
The end of this 52-year cycle that we're in now, you said it
What year?
ends in Ahau 2034.
Okay, this cycle, this 52. You're going to the end in here.
On which day then?
Well, I need to calculate.
Ah,
I can tell you, but I need to do calculation. Because each year works this,
different.
and each year works this.
Yeah.
Can you tell us tomorrow?
Ah, yes, I can tell you tomorrow.
So I'm not clear on this. Is 2012 actually the end of 26,000 years, or is that wrong?
According with this, is not going to the end something.
2012 is not the complete cycle.
No.
Okay, that's
That's
I didn't think
Thompson's
so.
side.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But Eric Thompson, Eric Thompson said in 2012 is the end of the long count. And for Eric Thompson, the long count is 5,125.
Okay.
But that Eric Thompson say, okay, according with what he knows.
But in 2012, will we still be moving into the age of Aquarius?
Yes,
Yes.
Are we in the age of Aquarius now?
we're in the age of Aquarius.
No.
Suppose it started that in the 1953. That, I know, in 1953 started
That's
age of Aquarius.
And that's a
Slowly,
2,000-year cycle.
it's building up.
And so
Suppose it's going to finish that cycle in is for 2000.
Yeah, so each cycle is supposed to be 2,000.
Yes.
So it's 2,000 years from 1953. The age of Aquarius should be over.
This according to what many books is they wrote with the Western mentality.
You know which date in 53?
Ask me that.
Let's, figure out.
You're going to be spending all night
Probably
making
go on-
calculations.
You can probably go on the internet and find that out.
Yeah, my
Punch it into
understanding of
Google.
that is that it should be easy to calculate because my understanding is, I don't know if it's the equinox or the solstice, but the sun will come up at the beginning of Aquarius in the constellation of Aquarius. And then for 2,000 plus years, the sun will come up facing that constellation. And that's how it goes through the houses of the zodiac. And I think it has to do something with the precession. I have to look that up again. So you should be able to, you should be able to calculate. Not I, but that's how they come up with that. I'm not an expert, I'm just...
And the constellation will be Delphinus. The dolphin.
Is that the next constellation?
So they say.
Delphin. We don't have that in the zodiac. We know the Delphin.
It's
we don't
there
have.
near Orion's belt somewhere. No, I don't know exactly where.
But in the constellation, the Western constellation, we know today, we don't have Delphins.
It's outside of ours. Yes.
Yeah, no, fine.
Separate
Outside. It's
information.
outside of our 12 constellations.
Ah,
It's
okay.
further, deeper.
Yeah, because in Dendera, that stone everybody knows about, of the astrology we use today. That stone exists in France. In that stone not exist the Delphins. Only Aquarius exists, where the woman is
No,
and
this
so
is
on.
going like when the Mayas looked into space like this, around the curve. So Delphinus is around the curve there. You cannot see it
You
now.
cannot see,
You can see only if you look that way.
so nobody can see.
Now, I think
Okay.
they can with their deep space telescope. They can see it, but I will try and find out exactly where it is for you.
What I think is interesting is, the fish is associated with Jesus, the fish.
Yeah.
And you'll see many people that have a little symbol of the fish.
The fish, yes.
But it's not a fish, it's the mustard seed.
No, it's Pisces.
Pisces.
Hunbatz has explained to us it's Pisces.
Pisces.
But ask any
took it out.
Christian,
Well,
and they will say it's
yeah.
the mustard seed.
Right. But that's because they don't want to own that they had anything to do with astrology.
Of
back
course.
when
Yeah.
So it's going from the water bearer to
Right.
Dolphinus. And that has to do with the return of Kukulkan, Jesus. Call it whatever you want to call it.
Consciousness.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
You see, only we touched a little about it.
Yeah.
This knowledge, and you know how many times we are here. How only when we went inside the calendar. We go inside to experience the energy, or another ways to understand the cosmos or the Mayas can be another explanation too. We explain about society or religion, different.
But the Mayas are so connected to the Pleiades, right? Especially to Halcyon. Now, if you look at the Hubble space photos of the galaxy, then the Pleiades are really in a very dark part of the galaxy.
It's more like this, maybe.
You know, if you look at the light and the dark parts of the galaxy, then Pleiades is in a really dark spot.
Yeah.
So they're bringing this connection with that place in a dark spot to Earth and anchor it here. Don't mean dark as bad. I'm just saying it's like a place looks like there's not much around it. When we look up in the sky at the Pleiades, there's lots around it. But if you look really in the big picture of the Hubble space photos, it's in a dark, dark place. Only these 7 little stars sitting in a very dark, big dark space. So
Well,
it must
the-
be very special.
The thing,
Well, stars are very far apart from each other. I mean,
the thing we need to know is we are part of the Pleiades.
That's hard for me to wrap myself around that, because, you know, I can't even hardly see the Pleiades.
But you have to think like this again. Space is curved. We look at everything in a linear way. It's curved. You have to curve your brain.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. You have this
It's
spot.
it's difficult to understand. That's why if you try to do this, it's going to be more difficult. you know,
it's easy.
you know. If you try to understand something like that, it's difficult. But now you try to understand this way, it's going to be more difficult.
No, linear thinking is more difficult than thinking outside of the box.
but do the Mayan believe that right now the solar system is changing? Our position in space is changing?
The planets.
Always.
The planets?
Always.
But it's always changing, yeah.
Spreading apart, huh?
I mean, we're always moving, but are we moving closer to what people call the dark rift? The
That's John Jenkins.
proton belt?
Yes. That's when the reason we think about time today is difficult. Like how to understand more easy this. You can sit down, maybe 20 people. You can ask to them. Each one of them you can ask, how do you feel time? Going more slow or more fast? Like example, 20 years ago. Everybody's going to say time is going more fast.
Right.
See, because anyway it's going more fast. Because it's like this. Our planets sometimes go more fast and sometimes go more slowly. like this.
It's galactic springtime. Goes fast.
You see, so today we're going more fast.
I think you explained that to us once, Hunbatz. You had drawn a picture of the Milky Way galaxy, and at different points of our solar system traveling around Alcyon, time goes slower, time goes faster.
Yes.
And I thought you said, I have to look in my notes, that it depended on how close we were to Alcyon. As
Can be.
time speeds up or slows down. Which is really interesting because that goes along with what Einstein said about gravity and time. But I don't know if we can perceive it, but somehow.
The same planet do the same thing around the sun. In some months, these planets go more fast, and not they go more slow.
I mean, because right now our magnetic field is the lowest it's ever been in 2,000 years.
Magnetic field?
Yeah.
Like in the spring,
Everything's breaking up.
in the spring, these planets go more fast.
Galactic spring.
That's one of the reasons all the vegetation grows more fast too. And in winter, they go more slow. That's one of the reasons the vegetation, they grow a little more slow too. So it has connection. Everything can happen, this planet happen in many places at the same time.
So it's a cycle. You know, we're not big enough to see the cycles. I remember up in Michigan where we're from, they have these big lakes in the state. And a few years ago, the lakes were getting smaller. And everybody was getting scared, wondering what happened to all the water. Maybe at some point the lakes are going to disappear. And so we were talking about that. And then Patricia's dad, he is 85 years old or something.
No, he's older than that.
Almost 90 years old.
Right.
And he said, oh, that's silly. He said, when I was a child, the lakes were smaller than that. So the lakes got small, and then they get big. And then
However
they get
that
small,
happens.
and they get big. So it's a cycle.
Yeah.
He knew that because where they lived, they could actually pasture cattle out at a place that when we were kids was completely underwater. Because I don't know right now, I didn't look, but a few years ago, a lot of the places where they dock boats and all that kind of thing had to shut down because they were now, the water wasn't to them anymore, was that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Is it?
So everything exists, have cycles.
Cycles.
But not only one cycle, they have many cycles.
Many cycles.
And the most short cycle is indicate that the moon. Because when it's full moon, the water grow.
Right.
Yeah. Well, look at now Egypt. Now it's a desert, but at one time it was tropical.
Right.
And so each cycle is a form of consciousness.
It has connection with that too. Because the people, they live around what they think. If they think in negative, but doctor, this Japanese, what's the name?
Miyamoto. Yeah, with the ice.
He indicate that, he demonstrate that water, it looks like it's so empty with life. And when you do nice thing to the water can grow.
Yeah.
And today, because we're not doing good things to the water, maybe the water begin to reduce again. Maybe in the next generation can grow again. Thing like this.
Mother Nature has consciousness.
Right.
Those pictures are pretty dramatic. Have you seen them?
I haven't. Oh yeah, no.
The ice crystals,
Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen that.
for sure.
Yeah.
He puts love on it, and it's
Yeah.
Different things.
beautiful
Beautiful.
geometric
Right.
patterns. And
Yeah.
you put
Mm.
hate or something on it, and it's all
Chaos.
decrepit.
In Merida,
Music.
this Japanese came there in Merida and he gave a lecture about water.
Oh, really?
And something surprised of me because that Japanese he knows what he's saying. He knows what he explained about water. And when he went to the Kaba,
Yeah.
close to Shmal,
Yeah.
and he saw many faces, and he asked what the symbol of that face is. Some guy there explained that's the face of the water, Yunchak.
Yeah.
And this Japanese began to say, in the same moment, he fell down and began to pray to all the faces. You see? That's interesting.
Yeah. 'Cause he's so related to the water. He's
Exactly. And years ago, many years ago, we did some ritual there in the place for water too. And something beautiful happened is when we were close to the faces, begin to rain, but the rain cannot touch the pyramid. Only like 2 meters in my back is raining. But when I am close to the faces, touching the faces, it's not raining. You see, happened that? To me, that it means it's still the power of that prayer to that face still exists and is there.
Right.
You
That's
see?
beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful.
Yunchak.
What about that, what was mentioned in some of the programs on Discovery Channel, that the alignment of the planets, they're going to be forming they're going to be aligned. And I think it was mentioned this happens every 26,000 years. And we're due for another planetary alignment.
Line of planets.
And they were saying that maybe the magnetic field of the Earth may shift. There might be a lot of changes because of the alignment of the planets and the changes of the energy fields. Can you explain on that? That's all I know about that, and I thought there's got to be more.
That's in the book of what's the name? Jenkins?
John
John
Major.
Major Jenkins.
Yeah.
It's in that book. Maybe you can send to her the information because that information is in that book. You can buy that book and you can read that.
It's also in the movie 2012. The line.
No, but they're not showing anything. You know what kind of planets.
Yeah.
Only show some planets, but they don't say
What?
this is planet, this is planet. That's no. Okay, that information exists, and they say in the 2012 it's going to be the alineation of 4 planets. And sometimes with the alineation of the planets, you can see in some place, in the back, you can see another planet. But in the 2012, suppose the alineation, when you can see in the back, is no planets. Because the Milky Way, it has here, up here, many planets, and down here, many planets too. But in the center is almost no planets. And the alienation is going to be there in the center of the Milky Way.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So it could signal something, maybe a change in consciousness, but not the end of the Mayan round count. So something could be there.
Yes, something could be there.
I'm reading a book on titled "Mystic Christianity," and it talked about the star that brought the Magi to Jesus. You know, there was an alignment also of 3 planets: Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars, within the constellation of Pisces, which is kind of interesting. And that was a signal that a master of masters was coming. You know, so the ancient astrologers knew that when that happened, it was going to signify a high consciousness coming to Earth temporarily.
Mm.
So, the alignment can mean something. It's just not Mayan, I guess.
Mm.
Well, it's not my long count.
Yeah, it's not the Mayan long count.
Well, it only looks like an alignment if you look from Earth. Go to Mars, it won't be an alignment for Mars. It looks like it from, it's not a true, really alignment.
Does John
Yeah,
make
yes.
does he say which planets are going to be aligned?
I think
can't
he does,
remember.
yeah.
I think he does too, but it's been a long time since I read that information. Well, and when I heard about it first was when he came to one of Hunbatz's seminars that Hunbatz was having in Yucatan. He was there, and Callahan was there, to. And now they wrote these books and did all these things, kind of stuff, but they're not based necessarily on any studies by any Mayans at all.
Exactly.
They're based on their own studies, but they're not necessarily Mayan.
Yeah.
So, but they've got big names out there now, for that.
They've got a lot of publicity and whatever, and each time you get publicity, you get a different viewpoint.
Right.
Yeah. And then you have the movies. I think I was wrong. Right now, it's not the cycle of the system, it's the cycle of Hollywood.
More ways to get revenue from people.
Yeah.
Well, Disney's nephew or somebody died
Safety
this week,
mafia,
so
scare them, they'll buy
there's
it.
less Disney on the planet now.
What's that?
Disney's nephew or somebody died this week from cancer.
Oh.
So there's less Disney on the planet now.
Yeah, that's right. Is he the last one?
John Major Jenkins also speaks of we're moving from the fourth to the fifth evolution of human consciousness. Is that correct?
The what? For?
We're going from the fourth evolution of consciousness to the fifth. And I think he got that information from the Guatemalans. Fourth to the fifth. It's like from going from Kali Yuga to the next big cycle. Now we're going from the fourth to the fifth evolution of human consciousness. But I think in the Vedics they say we're going from the third to the fourth.
Oh yeah.
But the Mayans say that the Guatemalan Mayans say we're going from the fourth to the fifth. But it's more or less the same cycles.
Maybe they're using different numbers.
Yeah, so it's more confusion.
Yeah, they're saying we're in the dark age right now, right? We're in the Kali, and we're going to be in a higher, whatever the next level is called.
Yeah.
Higher enlightenment.
When did they say that?
That's what
Well, the fourth is our
I think that comes up to 2012 too. I'm pretty sure that their calendar comes up to the Kali ends in 2012.
That could be the end of the Obama administration too, so that might be turning of brightness.
When Obama has found Osama, it will end.
Yeah, right.
Obama and Osama.
Talk about Hollywood. Osama is Hollywood. Doesn't exist. So the current evolution is who we are now. The previous one was the Atlantic, number 3. Number 2 was Mu, the Muria, and number 1 we don't know. But this
Number
before
1.
that, before the Muria.
How many do you count, Hunbatz, when you were talking about the Winkle and the different stages of the human?
4.
4. So we are the fourth
We're in the fourth now.
version.
We're in the 4 now.
Yeah.
Oh, so that is correct. We are going to the fifth.
Because Hunbatz talked about.
Yeah, I
how we
remember
were-
now.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, you were there.
But almost they cannot speak about the difference cycle of the human too. Like when the human they were giants, and they don't speak about when the human they're like I say people like this side.
Dwarf, elf.
Alush.
Alush, they don't speak about that.